every once in a while we have some really fantastic, creative people here, and actually, I am very impressed. We have some real talent going on right now. Sometimes you'll see some of the students just excel exceptionally. And they get better as they go along. They come in not knowing anything. By the time they leave, they're like stupendous. It's like, wow. I don't really get to spend a lot of time with them, like individually, because I'm spending a little bit of time with all of them. But it's really kind of nice to see. I'm here enough that I can go around and I can see them start to get better or change. I can see how they're, getting better and better every time they do another makeup. It's like, oh yeah, it's starting to click in,
Technology has changed. So, we have more advanced painting systems. We have more advanced adhesives for prosthetics. When I started, we were gluing foam rubber on with spirit gum and liquid latex to blend the edges off, and now we're using silicones and acrylic-based adhesives and things like that. So
I think it's almost a necessity for makeup artists to know, digital, Photoshop. Even ZBrush is helpful if they can do 3D, sculpting. All of that new technology is very helpful because it really enables the director or your client to see what can actually be done.
Film was very forgiving. Digital is hyper real. Sometimes, especially if you're looking at things like Lord of the Rings versus The Hobbit. Lord of the Rings had real orcs, men in makeup. It felt real. The Hobbit's orcs are digital and it feels like a video game. I'd rather have the real.
And there's even makeup artists now, that a couple of makeup artists that I know of that have companies that work with the CGI artist in post-production to make sure that when they go in to fix things on the makeups, they're actually fixing the right thing, not just arbitrarily moving stuff around that they don't know what they're doing. So I think all of that is really helpful to know, because you never know where you're going to wind up and how you're going to use it,
If you're looking to scare somebody, the unfamiliar is what does it. Even if you look through history, the type of people that were feared are people who are a little different. Dwarves, midgets, people who are exceptionally tall. People look at them very strangely. It's more commonplace today for people to understand those things and be more forgiving. Still the occasional someone out of the ordinary could make people a little uncomfortable. And that's just unaware of, it's just the fear of the unknown kind of thing. Like you ever run into somebody who has one eye that doesn't track with the other? It makes you uncomfortable.
Exactly.
Nothing against those poor folks but it's just, it's something out of the ordinary. It makes people uncomfortable.
Definitely.
This is probably, this is like the Harvard of makeup schools. This is the school you want to go to. If you're going to a makeup school, you're going to come here if you want to go to the best school. All of our teachers are actually experienced makeup artists that do this for a living, and they do it while they're teaching here. So that is really, so important as far as I'm concerned, to have somebody that's actually does it for a living here teaching you. I loved the idea of being able to transform a human being into another person or another character. I just thought that was the coolest thing ever. And of course, when I was little, there were no women makeup artists, so I kind of broke down the doors when I got in, which was cool. And now there's a lot of us.
Yes.
We want to give them the basics. We want to give them, this is the way we know works. Now it's up to you to play, to practice, to find your own methods. When I was coming up, there was no makeup schools. So we learned everything. We went to this place called the library. It had books in it, and we'd go there and we'd study. And then you go home and you practice in the mirror. And I feel like they can get the basics from school, they can get the basics from books, but having the hands-on of the instructor in the classroom, demonstrating it for them, I mean, I've written 3 books on makeup, plus all the textbooks for the school. How I'm showing in the book is like the absolute most perfect way, it's going to be done so that they can try it. But to see it live and see what could go wrong, I think that's just as important as seeing it done perfectly. So I really feel study those who came before you and be a student of film as well.